Okay, let's be real, when you heard about Mike Tyson and Jake Paul facing off in the ring, you were probably expecting a fight for the ages, right? Like, picture it, two titans of their respective generations going head-to-head in a battle for ultimate glory. But what did we actually get? Well, let's just say it left a lot to be desired. It was like watching a slow-motion car crash, but instead of cars, it was just disappointment. And you know who else isn't holding back their opinions? Cats. That's right. Today we're breaking down the most hilarious feline reactions to the oh-so-disappointing Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight. First up, we've got Luna. Now, Luna is a cat of discerning tastes, you know? She's not just any ordinary feline. She enjoys the finer things in life. A sunbeam perfectly placed on a fluffy rug where she can bask in warmth and comfort, a bottomless bowl of salmon-flavored kibble, which she savors with every bite, and the occasional dead lizard brought in from the garden, a trophy of her hunting prowess. So naturally, when Luna heard about the Tyson versus Paul fight, she was intrigued. What could be more fascinating than watching humans in action? Two humans engaging in primal combat, she probably thought, her whiskers twitching with anticipation. It was a spectacle she couldn't miss. But as the fight dragged on, Luna's face slowly morphed into an expression of utter bewilderment. What was happening? I mean, look at that blank stare. She's clearly wondering, "This is what you hyped me up for?" The excitement was fading fast. Luna's reaction says it all. The fight didn't pack a punch, literally. She was left unimpressed, yawning at the anticlimax. Now here's Mittens, who started off super excited for the match. I'm talking eyes wide, ears perked, tail swishing back and forth like a metronome on speed. She was pawing at the screen, ready to see some action. Maybe she thought it was a giant moving scratching post, who knows. But as the fight dragged on, you could practically see her energy deflate. It was like watching a balloon slowly lose its helium, except instead of a sad, wrinkly balloon, it was Mittens, the once excited kitty, now reduced to a pile of meh. By the end, she was chasing her own tail instead. And honestly, I don't blame her. That had way more entertainment value. Then there's Rocky, named after the Italian stallion himself, Rocky Balboa. This feline fighter has a reputation to uphold. This little guy came prepared for an epic showdown. We're talking pre-fight rituals that would make any boxer proud. A few laps around the scratching post to get the blood pumping, some shadow boxing with a dangling feather toy to sharpen his reflexes, and a good, long stare down with his reflection in the water bowl to psych himself up. Rocky was ready to rumble. His determination was palpable. But the fight? Not so much. It was a letdown. After 5 minutes of May punches and more hugging than a family reunion, it was clear this wasn't the showdown Rocky had envisioned. Rocky decided to take matters into his own paws. He wasn't going to let this be a total flop. He grabbed his little toy boxing glove, a gift from his humans who clearly overestimated the fight's excitement level, and decided to improvise. He put on a better show than the actual fight, performing tricks and playful moves that had everyone cheering. Talk about stealing the spotlight. Rocky turned a dull moment into a memorable one. Chapter 4, Garfield versus Sleep, Sleep Wins. And let's not forget Garfield, the iconic, lazy, lasagna-loving feline. This chonky boy, with his insatiable appetite for lasagna and his general disdain for Mondays, decided to grace the Tyson versus Paul fight with his presence. Now, Garfield is not one to be easily impressed. He's a cat of refined tastes and high standards. He's seen it all, done it all, probably eaten the packaging of it all. Nothing really surprises him anymore. So, for him to even stay awake past his usual bedtime to watch this fight, that's saying something. It means he was expecting something truly spectacular. Or rather, it would be saying something if he actually managed to stay awake. But alas, that was not the case. You see, this fight was so uneventful, so mind-numbingly boring, that Garfield, the undisputed king of naps, actually fell asleep halfway through round 2. His final verdict? Not even worth missing my nap. A scathing review from a cat who values his sleep above all else. I mean, if your fight can't keep Garfield awake, you've got a serious problem on your hands. Maybe next time, they should consider a more exciting lineup. Chapter 5, Bella's epic eye roll. Then there's Bella. Now, Bella is a cat of few meows but many expressions. She's got a look for everything. A disdainful sniff for when you try to feed her dry food, a slow blink of approval when you scratch her just right, and a full-body stretch that could rival any yoga instructor. But Bella's reaction to the Tyson versus Paul fight? Pure comedic gold. It was nothing short of iconic. Just a big old eye roll, executed with the precision of a seasoned actress. She's like, really? 2 legends in the ring and this is the best you can do? If cats could tweet, Bella's reaction would have gone viral. Chapter 6, Simba and Nala. the real main event. And here we have Simba and Nala, a pair of feline siblings who clearly missed the memo about sibling rivalry being mostly for show. These two are the real deal, always ready to pounce on a moving toy, a stray sunbeam, or each other. But what's amazing is how they channeled their inner Tyson and Paul, only with way more energy and a lot less awkward hugging. These two went at it in slow motion, perfectly mimicking the overly cautious punches we saw during the match. Who did it better? Honestly, my money's on the cats. They at least looked like they wanted to be there. Chapter 7. Peanut's Existential Confusion. Let's check in with Peanut, who was utterly confused the entire time. Peanut is new to this whole watching humans attempt to fight thing, and frankly, I think we owe her an apology. Her little head tilt says it all. Wait, wasn't this supposed to be a fight? Why are they dancing around like they're at prom? Someone get this kitten some clarity, please. Or better yet, put on a nature documentary. There's more action in a documentary about sloths than in that fight. Chapter 8. Mr. Whiskers wants his money back, and then we've got Mr. Whiskers, who was so frustrated that he flipped over his bowl of treats. Now Mr. Whiskers is a cat of simple pleasures, a warm lap, a good ear scratch, and a bottomless bowl of tuna-flavored treats. He's not one for drama, but even he has his limits. And this fight was a direct assault on his senses. And honestly, can you blame him? If you hype up a fight and don't deliver, there's gonna be some consequences, especially when snacks are involved. Mr. Whiskers doesn't mess around when it comes to his treats. Chapter 9. Cats know a snooze fest when they see one. By the end of the night, most of these cats gave up on Tyson and Paul altogether. They were over it. Done. Finito. They'd tried to make sense of the awkward shuffling, the hesitant jabs, the sheer lack of any real action, but it was just too much. So they did what any sensible being would do. They started watching old clips of real boxing matches on YouTube. You know, the ones with actual punches and knockouts and, dare I say, excitement. Because let's face it, there's only so much disappointment a cat can handle. Chapter 10. Midnight says wake me up when it's over. Finally, here's Midnight, who took the ultimate stance. Boycotting the screen altogether. This is a cat who knows her worth. She's not going to waste her precious napping time on something as utterly underwhelming as the Tyson versus Paul fight. She's like, wake me up when there's a fight actually worth watching. And you know what? Midnight might be on to something. Maybe next time we should just stick to watching cat videos. At least those are guaranteed to be entertaining. Outro, and the award for best nap goes to... So there you have it, 10 hilarious cat reactions to the Tyson versus Paul fight that perfectly sum up how we all felt. Whether it was frustration, confusion, or just plain boredom, these felines said what we were all thinking, but with way more fur and cuteness. Which reaction was your favorite? Was it Luna's existential crisis, Mitten's tail-chasing boredom, or maybe Mr. Whiskers' treat bowl protest? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more hilarious cat content.